Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the presentation on Silver Shield Resources. My name is Stephen Mlot, and I am a Director and Vice President of Engineering of the company. Silver Shield is active in the precious metals world, developing interesting properties in Ontario and Mexico, and Mexico has become very much a focus for us. We have a collection of people involved in the company that have been involved since the start of the company. Varied experience throughout the mineral industry, from initial exploration right on through to development, production, and milling operation. The company is, at the price of about 5 to 6 cents today. Very attractive. We feel at that price, we don't think that there's very much downside in it. Only 46 million or so shares issued and outstanding today. Fully diluted 57 million. So we think that there's value and not a big overhang in the market. As I said, interesting properties in Ontario. The Welsh Silver Mine, a primary silver property in Ontario. In the Timmins Group of Ogden, Lost Dog, and the Macquarie joint venture, giving us exposure to early stage gold exploration in the West Timmins camp. Interesting properties in Mexico. La Cumbre, our primary project, with La Florida nearby, and the Haripo project that we've been carrying out exploration on recently. Looking at our Timmins projects, Lost Dog, our primary project, very interesting. We believe that the major structure in the Timmins camp that controls gold mineralization goes right across the property, and the Ogden property is very near to the heart of the Timmins camp. Ogden's what brought us to Timmins in the first place. We think it's very well located, near other players, and certainly near the heart of the camp. Lost Dog's a much larger property and a much more exploration-intensive property for us. MAG and IP surveys seem to suggest that primary structures are there, and that gold mineralization could be related to them. The Macquarie joint venture gives us exposure to a group of other nearby properties that are located near zones that are extremely active for mineralization, that are currently being explored by others. The Welsh Silver Mine property is very important to us. It's what brought the company together in the first place. We have two areas of really interesting silver mineralization on the property, and certainly is a target for a lot further exploration given where silver prices are today and where we expect them to be going over the next year or so. Very interesting results in the drilling programs that we've carried out at Welsh. Very high grades, in excess of 2,600 grams per ton or 77 ounces per ton over fairly narrow widths, but even at those widths, today's mining costs, these would be economic situations. We need to grow the tonnage here, and we think there's potential for in excess of 5 million ounces of silver in a small deposit at the Welsh mine site. Mexico, we're working in south central Mexico, basically what I call from Mexico City down to the Pacific coast, and looking at projects that we own in this area and a number of others that we'd like to acquire. As you can see, Mexico City at the top of the page. La Cumbre, our primary project, 100% owned, and Haripo, a project that we're earning into. A number of other projects are in the map area that we're negotiating on actively right now for acquisition. La Cumbre, we see about 8 kilometers of strike length there, favorable mineralized zone with a number of historic operations located along it. And we're actively exploring in this area around the Mina El Condor, and we have geochemical signatures that suggest there's a lot more mineralization there than we found to date. La Cumbre is a historic property, a small amount of development, some number of years ago, but very interesting. The sampling underground, grades in excess of 500 grams per ton silver and 5 grams per ton gold, which would be extremely economic and exciting to be mining today. Drilling at La Cumbre has found a lot of interesting things. We've certainly expanded the zone beyond that historic development, including sections up to 28.4 grams, almost an ounce per ton, over half a meter in one of the drill holes. But this is all new mineralization below that historic mining we saw on the last page. Haripo is another property we acquired in there, primary silver with lead and zinc values. Initial sampling on there returned samples of up to over 1,000 grams per ton of silver and 2.5% and 5% of lead and zinc respectively. Certainly very interesting. We've just completed the first 1,500 meters ever drilled on this property, and we're quite excited by the results and looking forward to additional follow-up work. We had a little deposit model at Haripo, and this proved somewhat successful, although drilling has indicated that there's much more going on there. We had an area about 1,200 meters long that we found was interesting, a number of historic mines in that area, and we drilled across the area, concentrating around the old Haripo mine, and certainly intersected lead and zinc, silver, dominated mineralization in every hole, and much more than would have been expected from information we had on the historic mining. We see multiple parallel zones away from that fault and intrusive area, and in fact mineralization on the other side of the fault and intrusive area, which is something that we did not know of before and was not predicted by analysis of the historic mining. So we think there's a lot more going on here and a lot more potential than we knew at the beginning, and certainly many more targets for continued exploration. Our go-forward plan at Lecumberri is to collect our information into a technical report and carry out further exploration in the larger concession. Ideally, the technical report will recommend a big drilling program in excess of 7,500 meters that will get up to a resource estimate. And we think that's $1.5 million to $2 million exercise. Look forward to commencing that. At Haripo, it's basically the same kind of program. Collect the information into a technical report, carry out some additional regional exploration. Hopefully the technical report will recommend a major drilling program up to 10,000 meters or more, and that will also get us up to a resource estimate on the property. We think that's a $2 to $3 million exercise. That's a very quick look at Silver Shield Resources. If you have any questions, please direct them to Don Shaxson at the information given on the screen. Please feel free to visit the website or contact us directly. Thank you very much. This has been Stephen Mlot for Silver Shield Resources.